Where is my child? Where is Mathis? Where is my baby?
これはかつてリコリスの花畑で死んだ愚かな女王の話。
Don't tell me they killed him too. Killed my husband and my child. These pieces of shit. I'll burn this country alive. We can all die. No, but oh, please, no. I hope not. This is the story of a foolish queen who died in a field of lycracies.
その女は愚かだったが勇敢だった。
Though foolish, she was certainly brave.
誰も彼もが恐れる神に食いつき噛みつき、
She fought the god
奴がもたらす理不尽には
whom
怒
everyone
り狂う。
feared, enraged against his wrongdoings.
だが対等だと認められ、その神との国を救う死へと対抗する同盟が結ばれた。
However, the god recognized her as an equal, leading to an alliance between them to face the death that devoured the country. So cold. So scared. So much pain. I did my best to struggle, but my body didn't move how I wanted. I tried to bring air into my lungs, but took a deep breath of water instead. Yes. I was gonna be pulled into these waters and suffer a horrible, lonely death. I was gonna die without anyone knowing what happened. No. I don't want to die yet. Even if I'm not needed. I don't want to die alone. No. If possible. I want to be warm. I want someone to see me die in peace. Oh my.
こんなところで水遊び？男の子だし、やんちゃなのは結構だけれど。
Playing in the water out here. Boys certainly will be boys, don't they?
一人では危ないし、怖いでしょ？
It must be scary being out here all alone.
だから、これからは、私がそばにいて一緒に遊んであげる。
So, why don't I play by your side from now on?
あなたのお名前は？私はね。
What is your name? I am. I think my theory of him coming from different countries is correct.
死んだ。
He's dead.
今まで散々我らを見下してきたシアンブロフィワーズが死んだ。
Fuck you. After looking down on us for so long, seeing Brofis is finally dead.
これからは正しく我らレーブポワール家がアルペシェールを支配していく時代だ。
It's time for the Riverpoir family to rule over Apachel as is our right. Boo! 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 The man was surrounded by those in his family who had clung to power for years without any change. Despite being the current king, the man, so unknown by many of his subjects outside the castle, raised his glass in a toast.
とうとう成し遂げましたわね、お父様。
We finally did it, father.
神を気取る悪魔に国を支配され、私たちがどれだけの屈辱を味わったことか。
Think of all the humiliation we endured. Being forced to abide by the rules of that demon pretending to be God.
ですが本当にあの男なしに生き続けることができるのですか？
But I must ask, will we be able to continue living now that he's dead? No!
ああ、心配はいらない。シアンが不要どころか。
That would not be an issue. Not only is Cian completely unnecessary,
私たちはこれからリライバー技術さえ必要と
because
し
you're
な
gonna
い
grab Ankou
究
and
極の
gain
生物になれる
immortality.
のだから。
You will no longer require reliable technology whatsoever in order to live as immortal beings. Yeah, that's not how this works. I don't think you're gonna get immortality from him. If you wanted to get immortality from him, you probably need science brilliance to actually make that happen. But he's dead now, so it's not gonna happen. What, do you plan on eating Ankou? I mean, maybe that'll work. Maybe they can gain immortality by eating Ankou's flesh. I don't know. But I feel like that wouldn't quite work. Also, it'd be very disturbing. But they would probably do it. It's some Attack on Titan shit.
そうだろう、支援者。
Isn't that right, good supporter?
本当に私たちだけが呪いすらも受け付けぬ不死のリライバーになれるのでしょうね。
Is it really true we can become immortal relivers impervious to the curse?
無論です。国王陛下、
Why, of course, your majesty.
私が責任を持って王族の皆様をこの世で最も尊い命評価させてみせましょう。
I would take full responsibility to ensure that the royal family is elevated to the status you most certainly deserve. A meeting through a transmitter. The voice's confident proclamation caused a stir in the grand hall.
実に心強い。だが、殺したはずのお前が存命し、我らに加担しているとは。
Donuts. Very good to hear. To be assisted by the very person we once killed. It's donuts. Because if he is the kid, the queen's child, then he would have they would have sent assassins after him too. And he would have died. But Medan was relived. And that's why he's a kid. I don't know if that makes sense. There's more evidence that it's not.
あのシアンブロフィバーズとて夢にも思わなかっただろうさ。
Not even Cian Brofest would have expected this turn of events.
実現の暁には契約通り王家への復帰を認めるゆえ尽力するがよい。
Yep, it is.
お前には期待している。
As per our contract, I will allow you back into the royal family. So do your very best. I'm counting on you.
私ごときにはもったいないお言葉でございます。ですが、そのためにはまず
You are most kind and generous indeed. However, in order in order to further assist you.
この国を救うリコリスの聖女に命を捧げてもらう必要がございます。
I will need the Lycoris Saints to save this country by sacrificing your life.
リコリス？あの汚らわしいノワージュ家が守護する花がどうかしたんですの？
What do filthy Neoge flowers have to do with this?
後ほど詳しく説明いたしますが、この本に載っていた知識によれば、災いの花の遺伝子を継ぎ、
I will go into detail later, but according to the knowledge in this book, she has inherited the genes of the flowers.
皆様によって生み出された呪いを吸収する聖なる娘がクーネのいずこかに潜んでいるとか。
A holy girl who lives amongst the commoners of Coin, who is able to absorb the curse that the royal family created. So they did create the curse. But I thought the curse was from the toxins in the ground. Am I missing something? Or are they saying her curse? Not like the curse of the country. Upon hearing the supporters' words, every single person in the hall suddenly went pale.
貴様、なぜそれを？
How do you know that?
私が陛下たちに暗殺された理由を
Have you forgotten why I was assassinated by your majesty?
ご安心を。恨みなど最初の肉体に置き去りにしてまいりました。
Please do not worry. Any grudges that could have existed died with my original body.
今の私の望みはシアンブロフィワーズによって失われたアルペシェール王家の権威を取り戻すことと王族に復帰することだけ。
I really do hope that this is like part lie, that he's doing this for some other alternate reason. And he's still a good guy. He's just playing the game. I really hope. My only desire now is to restore your right to rule, which was stolen by Cyan Brofis, and for me to rejoin the royal family.
そのためにもどうかその聖女を生贄とする許可を。
In order to do so, I would like permission for the saint to be our sacrifice.
彼女の犠牲と不死の化け物の血肉さえあれば
If we're sacrificing the blood of that immortal monster,
神すらも凌駕する最高の生命として君臨することが可能となるでしょう。
you'll be able to take on an eternal form. Your reign will surpass even that of a god.
あれから数十年私はお礼をすすりながらもそのためだけに生き延びてきたのですから。
Many years have passed since then. I have trudged through the mire and subsisted on little else, all so I could reach this day. Even though we were told that Cyan was killed, we didn't exactly see it happen ourselves. That night, after failing to capture Barreau, Cyan separated from Yves and made a run for it, carrying the Claude family heir. Yves was able to escape, that fake Barreau, and went into hiding before meeting with me. With the bare minimum treatment to his wounds, we quickly set off to save Cyan. But we couldn't find him anywhere, even after checking all the alleys, Adolphe's place, and even Karun. It was then we figured maybe they went to the Cloud Manor, since Mathis was with him. But no luck there either. The door to the mansion was open, and sensing that something wasn't right, Yves and I went inside, weapons drawn. The glamour of the place was gone. The mansion was covered with flesh and blood splattered all over the place. It was then we found Cyan's lab coat, and Mathis's knife covered in blood. Okay, so here's a possibility if I'm looking on the positive side, what's the word? What's the word for believing something that might be happening, for not believing, refusing to believe something that might be happening? I can't think of it. But, you know, here's a possibility. Okay, so Cyan and Mathis ran into Donuts. If Donuts is the supporter and is the son of the former queen, who the royal family sent out assassinations to kill, thus probably being killed, then, but somehow alive again, then, I don't know, maybe Cyan saved him and let him become a reviver. But then, maybe he teamed up with Cyan and Mathis to fake their death. And since Donuts is the supporter, he would know where Capuchin was, and that they were at the Mathis's manor, and that he was gonna kill Jean, and that there were also a bunch of people with him, thus leading to all the blood. And then there was a battle there. And then in order to, you know, keep out of the eye of the royal family and the public, and, you know, be able to conduct their doings in secret, Donut had the idea to have Cyan and Mathis fake their death. Thus this. Cause I don't know about you, but like this is very the shirt is very organized for just being left there. Or maybe that's not even his blood. Well, there's slashes there, so some of it might be his blood. But some of it might be the enemy's blood. But then why would the knife be there? I guess... I don't know, I'm just... Let me believe they're okay, okay? Let me live in delusion, okay? And then they found Cyan's lab coat and Mathis's knife covered in blood. We could guess what happened here, even if we didn't want to accept it. We looked for Mathis's butler, Jean, but he wasn't around either. He was probably another one of Barreau's casualties. No body, no proof. Now the following day.
国中のスピーカーから王族様直々にシアンさんの死と侵入者による国立研究所の設備全破壊の知らせが発表されたわけだ。
The royal family has announced to the country that the institute was destroyed and Sign has died.
今国中が混乱真っ只中だからな。そっちがどこに潜んでるのかは知らねえが、しばらく戻らない方が無難だぜ。
So yeah, the whole place is in chaos now. I don't know where you guys are hiding, but it's best you stay there for now. Word had not reached the isolated cliffs where Ankou's hideout stood. Just as shocking as Sion's death was, the news about the Institute being destroyed was the news about the Institute being destroyed. Does that mean all the equipment used to create relivers was destroyed by Barreau? No one in the country would be able to revive anymore. We could no longer live beyond the age of 23 years. Cyan, Mathis, and even Jean. I suddenly felt dizzy, but I managed to grit my teeth and keep from passing out, knowing that this was no time to be collapsing.
イブはどうしてる？
What about Yves?
ブローとそのリライバーどもの行方をダメ元で追いかけてる。
He's out looking for Barreau and his fake relivers. Adolphe clicked his tongue.
3人が死んだのはあいつの責任じゃない。気に病まないよう見ていてやってくれ。
It's not Yves' fault that those three died. Keep an eye on him so he doesn't do anything stupid.
おうよ、相棒のことはこっちに任せとけ。お前らはまず身の安全のことだけを考えろ。
Yeah, I'll take care of my partner. So you guys focus on yourselves and stay safe.
で、それはそうとして、この状況。
Copium, that's what it is. That's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Copium. Anyway, that's how it is. What do you think of the situation?
手際が良すぎる。いや、まずシアンの死を奴らが把握できること自体がおかしい。
Something's definitely fishy. How could they have found out about Cyan's death so quickly?
今回の計画はあくまで俺たちが独断で行ったこと。シアンも自分の居場所を誰にも知らせてなかった。
Our plans were hatched in secret, and Cyan didn't tell anyone where he was. The fact they made the announcement so quickly means we all knew who we were referring to when we said they. The royal family was aware that night that Cyan was gonna die. Or maybe they had a plan to have him killed.
暗殺か。
Assassination.
つうことは、ブローは完全に連中の手駒ってことになるのか。
It could also mean that Barreau's a pawn for that damn family.
だが、自分たちの生命線であるリライバー技術まで破壊するのが理解できない。
What I don't understand is why they would destroy the reliver equipment. That's basically their lifeline. Maybe they did it to get rid of any backup data that Cyan might have had made for himself. Then again, if that was the reason, they'd only need to destroy the server, not risk their lives by destroying everything.
別の技術者に装置を新しく作らせるつもりとか。
Maybe they're planning on having some other scientists build new equipment.
そんな簡単にリライバーが作れるなら、シアンは神だなんて呼ばれない。
Cyan would have been called a god if it was so easy to create relivers.
リライバー技術の詳細な理屈は謎に包まれてる。
I assumed the details were protected in some way.
技術を盗んで改良するならともかく、ゼロから作るのはどんなに優れた研究者でも不可能だ。
Maybe if the technology was stolen and modified, but I doubt anyone could rebuild it from scratch. If so, maybe they had some reassurance that things will be fine even if reliver technology is lost. Once I muttered this, I heard a sound from the transmitter that confirmed it. The death of Cyan Brofies, the developer of Reliver technology, was shocking news that spread throughout the country. News that the Institute's equipment had been destroyed was also made known. The citizens were thrown into turmoil.
おい、どうなるんだよ。
What the hell?
シアン様が死んで全設備がぶっ壊れたってことはもうリライバーになれないってことだろ。
If Cyan's dead, and the Institute's destroyed, does that mean we can't become Relivers anymore? That is exactly what that means.
私たちこのまま死神の呪いで死んでしまうの？
So we're all gonna die from Death's curse?
リライバー技術さえあればずっと生き続けることができると思っていたのに。
I thought Reliver technology meant we could live forever.
避けれないよ。何のために今まで研究所に出資してきたと思っている。
That's your issue? Priorities, I guess. Damn it, I gave so much funding to the Institute. Now it's all for nothing.
もうダメだ。リライバー技術がない以上、俺たちもこの国も破滅するしか。
It's no use without Reliver technology. Everyone in this country will perish. Cries of despair filled the air. Just then, a high-pitched sound broke through their wills. After a short wave of static, the speakers located around the country delivered another announcement.
我が愛すべきアルペシェールの全国民よ、絶望することはない。
Do not despair, my beloved citizens of Upchell.
神を語る罪人、シアン・ブロフィアーズの掲げる救済にしがみつく時代はもう終わった。
But what about the Church the Cyan Profiles? The age of clinging to false salvation in the sinful god Cyan Profiles is finally over.
なぜなら我ら王家は
We, the royal family,
奴に代わり呪いを浄化することのできる聖女を見つけ出すことに成功した。
have succeeded in finding a saint who can purge the curse on his behalf. I mean, you found her, but, do you know how to make it happen? I mean, they probably know about the whole, like, burying us alive thing, but I mean, they would need the Reliver technology to do that because just one of Ceres, having Ceres in the ground isn't going to cure the whole toxicity of the ground, the soil. They would need a whole bunch of her in different areas of the ground around the whole country. And then her decomposition would cure the soil, or whatever. But if the Reliver technology is, you know, gone, then how are you gonna make clones of her? To make that happen? You won't! Fools.
聖女。
Saints?
呪いそのものを消すってシアン様ですら実現できなかったことなのに。
Not even Sun was able to find a way to get rid of the curse.
死ぬ前に助けてくれるなら何でもいいわよ。その聖女とやらは今どこにいるわけ？
I don't care who it is as long as we can be saved. Where is this saint of theirs?
かの聖女は不死の化け物。憎き死神にさらわれ、行方をくらませている。
A saint has been abducted by the revealed death himself.
国の存亡の木を脱するため、諸君にも捜索の助力を請おう。
We ask our citizens to assist in finding them in order to save the country.
災いの花、いら、呪いを滅する聖なる花の力を持ち、かの花園に生まれた聖女の名は、
Name it a saint born amongst the flowers of misfortune. So the holy flowers that gave her the power to save us.
セレス。死神と誤解され蔑まれていた美しき金の髪を持つ乙女である。
The golden-haired maiden, once mistaken for death.
かの者を天への生贄として捧げれば、呪いは浄化され、この国は完全に救われることだろう。
No, that's not how it works. Sacrificing her to the heavens, the curse will be purged, and this land will finally see true salvation. You fools! Yeah. Saints? Me? We were stood in shock. Get rid of the word. We were stood in shock after hearing the sudden announcement through the transmitter. What in the world is happening? A terrifying shock. I turned around to see Ankou with his fist slammed against the rocky wall of the cave. Blood is dripping down both the wall and his fist. But it was only for a moment. Before I could even worry, his wound quickly healed. Ankou?
なぜ
Why? His low growl drowned out my voice.
なぜイブやシアンではなく
It was only Yves and Cyan.
奴らがリコリス・ノワージュの秘密を知っている
How the hell did they find out about the Lycoris Neorchus? Huh?
まさか
It couldn't be. Ankou? I tried to chase after Ankou, who quickly ran out of the cave with bloodshot eyes. But Adolphe held out his arm to stop me.
外に出るな今は国中の人間がお前の行方を死に物狂いで探してる
Don't go outside. Everyone out there is searching for you like their lives depend on it. But we can't just leave Ankou.
ああ分かってるたく本当に手が焼ける
I know. Damn it, what a pain in the ass. Adolphe raised the transmitter in his hand up to his mouth.
ヒューゴ今から伝える場所に来れるか保護してもらいたい奴がいる
Hugo, I need you to meet us here. There's someone we need to take into custody. Hugo heard our conversation and sounded confused, but he quickly responded to his leader's command.
俺や自警団のメンツは混乱するクーネを回ってるから無理だな。
The other guys and I are running around coin to control the situation. So no can do.
ただイブならいける。もうブローも見つからねえだろうし、俺から連絡して向かわせるわ。
But Yves can go. I doubt Barreau is around, so I'll let him know to head your way.
頼む。場所はリコリス・ノワージュの花畑の。
I'm counting on you. The location is past the Lycoris New Orchards. Adolphe relayed the exact location of the hideouts and the closest Lycoris field, along with Ankou's description before signing out. I wonder what happened to Ankou. For a moment, he sounded like a completely different person.
あいつの突拍子もない行動は今に始まったことじゃないが。
It's not unusual for him to act random like that.
ひとまずアンクーのことはイブとヒューゴに任せるしかない。
Not that we could do anything, so let's leave Yves and Hugo to take care of him.
俺たちは一度状況を整理した方がいい。一度に多くのことが起こりすぎてる。
As for us, we should calm down and sort things out. Too much is happening all at once. You're right. I'm confused about... Save here. I'll save here. We still have plenty of save spaces. Can probably end here soon. I'm most confused about Uncle's change, really. Or our whole saint thing. Let's just say Uncle's change. I wonder what's going on with Ankou.
今好き勝手に動かれるのは困るな。
I wish he could just stay put for now.
かの聖女は不死の化け物。憎き死神にさらわれ、行方をくらませている。
A saint has been abducted by the revealed death himself.
国の存亡の木を脱するため、諸君にも捜索の助力を請おう。
We ask our citizens to assist in finding them in order to save the country.
あの放送からしてあいつも身柄を狙われているのは間違いない。
From what we heard, it sounds like they're after him too. You think that the announcement was referring to Ankou? But why would that be?
実験体にするためだろう。
Probably to use him as a test subject. I guess that's nonchalant reply.
アンクーの持つ不老不死を人間も得ることが可能なら、破壊したリライバー技術も不要になる。
If someone is able to gain the immortality that Ankou has, there would be no need for Reliver technology anymore. But Ankou isn't a normal human. He said he came from Hades. I doubt any human would be able to possess the same power he has.
特異体質の人間とでも思われてるんじゃないか。あいつは俺たちと出会って以降、自分の素性を一度も名乗ってないからな。
Maybe they think he's just some guy with genetic mutations. He hasn't really told us much about it, even after all this time. Now that you mention it, you're right. The other thing we need to discuss was... Barreau. We should probably let him know that's Lucas.
「王族の連中が捜査の妨害、箝口令を敷いたのはブローをかばうためだろうな。」
Mm-hmm. I didn't think of that, but yeah. The gag order the royal family issued could have been to cover the bureau, in addition to prevent investigations from being done. How could they order assassinations when they're supposed to be protecting the public? If only one bureau appeared last night, things would have been different. I wondered where his clones were manufactured. It had to be a secret place, away from the Institute. Or underneath it. Or underneath the Society of Exorcists. That might actually be where it is. I think that's actually where it is. Yeah, that's actually where it is. After all, both the Institutes and national law prohibit the manufacture of relivers for those who are still alive. He killed Zion, Mathis, and so many others. I was angry that he could kill my friends. But apart from that, I feel like I've heard his voice before.
Hmm. どうした?急に黙り込んで。
Yeah. Should we tell him? What's wrong? You suddenly got quiet. Well, the image of a kind and loving teacher appeared in my mind. The memory was too vivid to say that it was only my imagination, which was why I needed to let Adolphe know. I knew that I needed to tell him, but I didn't want to believe that this kind soul was actually a ruthless killer. Once I say his name, both Adolphe and I will think of him as an enemy. Back then, his voice sounded stressed, like he was seeking help, but hatred could easily overpower that. Seeing me think deeply.
話したくないなら、今は話さなくていい。
You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Adolphe gave me a way out of it. But Adolphe, if I didn't mention anything, it might result in greater casualties.
お前にはお前なりの考えがあるんだろ。
You've got your way of looking at things, right?
今の俺たちが優先すべきなのは身の安全の確保。言い方はなんだが、ブローのことは後回しでいい。
I guess so, yeah, but there might not be a later. Our priority is to make sure we're safe. We can always talk about Bureau and whatever you want to share later.
この状況では奴も派手に動けないだろうからな。
Besides, I doubt Bureau would be able to move in this kind of environment.
だから、話す勇気が出たら話してくれ。
So whatever you decide, just let me know. Thank you. You're always understanding when it comes to these things. The other thing we need to discuss is... Okay, so we can do all them.
今まで散々お前を死神呼ばわりしておいて、今度は正常扱いか。
After all the time calling you death, now everyone's calling you a damn saint?
リコリスの聖女。そう呼ばれる理由に何か心当たりはあるか？
The Lycris Saints? Do you have any idea why they call you that? Of course not. I could understand why they call me Death, but... Hearing me talk badly about myself again, he tapped me on the forehead. I'm sorry, I just slipped out, but... Now that I think about it, I guess I can understand why they'd use the word Lycris, since my life has been all about them. I've liked Lycrises ever since I was little, and I would always go to the Lycris field.
お前が生まれたのもあの花畑だったな。
Weren't you born in the field too? Yes, but I don't know how and why. And I don't know anything about my parents. Why would they combine the word saint with the Lycrises that the people hate? Wouldn't brightly colored flowers suit the image as a saint more than Lycrises? And the announcement said that I'd be able to purge the curse from the country.
リコリスを枯らせば国を蝕む呪いが強くなるというイブの家に伝わるあの口伝。
Vis said he was told that the curse would get stronger if the Lycris is wilted or something.
あれはリコリスによって呪いが弱くなっているとも受け取れるからじゃないか？
Meaning that the Lycrises are somehow weakening the curse's effect, right? I suppose. I mean, it sounds like something from a fairy tale. But we do have Ankou as living proof.
ああ。ただのおとぎ話にしか過ぎないそれを本当に呪いに関連づける確信めいたものが連中にはあるのかもしれない。
Yeah, those bastards might have evidence on their side, proving that it's real somehow.
あの場に生まれたお前の出生の秘密も含めてな。
I want to say it's because you were born in the Lycris field. Adolphe mumbled, saying that Ankou's response confirmed his suspicion. But Yves only told his secret to people he trusted. How could the royal family have found out about flowers? The announcement was made by the royal family, who seemed to know about me and my past. Even if they got information about Ankou from Bureau, it was difficult to believe that they could know more about me than we did. Adolphe and I came to a conclusion. There has to be someone monitoring us during our investigation. Someone who's providing help to the royal family. They could have reported any information they learned to the royal family. Adolphe nodded. I felt dizzy at the thoughts. We already had to worry about Bureau coming after us, even Mother. And now this? I'm guessing Mother must have heard the announcement too. I can only imagine what must be going through her mind.
お前への心配一択に決まってるだろ。
I'm worried about your safety as always. Despite witnessing her sudden change firsthand, Adolphe gave his response immediately, which made me chuckle. But I felt the same way too. I was sure she was worried about us, and I wished I could at least let her know we were safe.
今は町に戻りたくても戻れないからな。
We can't head back to town just yet. We also have to find out why she acted so strangely last night.
そうだな。また何かあるたび鎖で縛られるのはごめんだ。
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to getting chained up again. She told me she was gonna keep us locked away in the storage shed too. Mother was like a completely different person back then, which frightened me. I remembered the intense look in her eye as she watched Ankou kill himself. Nothing could ever make me doubt that the love she gave us all these years was real. But I also knew that emotions could become twisted into something much darker, despite one's intentions. We wouldn't go back until that was resolved. I felt a sudden sadness. With everything that was happening, I couldn't even go to see my mother. I was thinking after I left your place, I could go back to the orphanage where Mother would be waiting.
ああ、俺も。
Yeah, me too.
普通の人間になったお前を、マムが笑顔で出迎える未来を何度も想像してたよ。
I kept picturing that day you'd be proven innocent. How happy Mother would be to see you.
それが叶うのは、もう少し先になりそうだな。
Looks like we're gonna have to wait a little longer for that day. Yes. All we wanted was to live long, happy lives. We were willing to take the matters into our own hands to find a solution. That was all I wanted, but reality continued to move on its own, leaving my wishes unfulfilled.
あの時の傷を見せてみろ。そろそろ消毒し直した方がいい。
Show me the wound on your arm. Should be about time we disinfect it again. Yours too, Adolphe. You hit that wall pretty hard back then, didn't you? We decided to check each other's wounds and tend to them so we could get our minds off the bleak situation we were in. Ankou continued to run through the salty wind coming from the ocean. His weakened state immediately tired his lungs, making him breathe with dry sound.
どうか無事であってくれ。
Please be safe. Who does he want safe? Yves, I guess? Or maybe Mother? Why? Or Cyan? I don't know. At times he stumbled over the flowers under his feet, but he continued to run. He ran toward the grave of the person who entered into a contract with him long ago. The gravestone was hidden beneath rubble, deep within the licorice field, but how? Only Yves knew. Right? Wait, how did Yves learn? Yeah, my uncle told him to dig into the grave. So actually, even he didn't know. No. So who would have known? Or is this the grave of the former queen? The grave had been unearthed, along with the licorice storages around it. A number of motionless corpses were littered around the gaping hole in the area. Ankou paid no attention to the bodies and quickly looked inside what was once the grave.
ない
No, no.
彼の位牌もあの本も全部
His ashes in the book. They're gone.
確かにここに隠していたはずなのに
I'm sure I hid them here. What happened to them? Grave robbers. The moment Ankou realized it, he felt an anger that he hadn't felt in ages.
あの本がなければ彼女が真実にたどり着くことは
She won't learn the truth without that book. Someone stole the most valuable piece of information needed to discover the truth behind the curse. Adding to insults, the memory of his dear friend, who trusted him and kept his promise, had been trampled upon by foolish greed. Hearing footsteps, Ankou reached into his pockets and turned around. He gripped the handle of the weapon he was preparing to draw when...
君がアンク？アドルフたちからの連絡で迎えに来たんだけど。
Are you Ankou? Adolphe and Hugo told me to come look for you. His breathing stopped for a moment at the unexpected encounter.
うちの墓が。それにこの遺体たちは。
Wait, the family grave. What are all these bodies? Similar to Ankou, Yves looked at the desecrated grave, then the bodies, and moved his hand to the hilt of a sword.
お前
You are... Yves looked at his otherworldly appearance and straight into Ankou's eyes of fiery crimson, and in the next moments...
もしかして君は
Could you be...
俺の始祖様と約束を交わしたあの死神？
The same death my ancestor made a contract with? Yves' eyes widened and sparkled. He's so cute. He's so cute. Look at this little blush. His suspicion quickly changed to friendship, leaving Ankou bewildered and speechless. Yves went on to say his family name, which made it clear that he was on Ankou's side. Clear confirmation that the person in front of him was a descendant of his old ally.
すごい。まさか俺の代であの死神と会うことができるなんて。
No, I never thought I'd be lucky enough to meet you during my lifetime.
頑張ってこの花畑を守ってきた甲斐があったよ。じいさまにも会わせてあげたかったな。
I knew I was worth it protecting these flower fields. I wish I could have met my grandfather too.
口伝の通り、すごく神秘的で綺麗な瞳の人？死神？なんだね。
He's so excited and so cute. He's just like the legend with those mysterious, beautiful eyes. You're really deaf? No way! As he spoke friendly words of goodwill, he smiled innocently, arranging the lifeless bodies with care and respect. It was quite a sight to witness someone accept his suspicious presence so quickly.
相変わらずのお人よしめ
I see you're as soft-hearted as ever.
え？何か言った？
Did you say something? Ankou hit his mouth and turned his head the other way in response. Aww.
ところで私は死神ではなく死の番人だよ。そこは履き違えないでもらいたい。
By the way, I am not Death, but rather the Watchman of Death. I would appreciate you not mistaking me again.
なるほど。その違いについてはわからないけど、了解。
No, I see. I don't understand the difference, but sure thing.
でもどうして君がアドルフや彼女と一緒に行動を？
So why are you working with Adolphe and his sister in the first place?
話せば長くなるのだがね。私はかの姫君と呪いに関するある契約を結んで。
It's a long story, but it stems from a contract I made with the princess in relation to the curse.
契約？ああ、もしかして。
Contract? Ah, okay, got it.
リコリスで求婚したい意中の女性ってセレスのことだったんだ。
So the girl he wanted to give the lycracies to is actually Ceres. Now he's blushing. I'll go. He's so cute. The sudden honest comment quickly raised Ankou's body temperature.
俺は彼女を人間だと思ってるけど、前世からの恋物語とかクーネで一時期流行ってたし、そういう感じの事情かな。
I always thought she'd be a human. Love stories about past lives were popular in Coin for a while. I'm right, aren't I?
で、この場に現れたってことは、いよいよリコリスのワージュを使って求婚するってこと？
Not quite, but... The fact that you're here means you're about to propose to her with a bouquet of lycra sneerages.
いや、違う。
No, you're wrong.
それはどちらかというと君がすべきこと。
If anyone is supposed to do so, it should be you.
どうぞ、いくらでも持ってって。そのために俺たちは今までこの花を守ってきたんだから。
Go on, take as many flowers as you want. It sure feels good to know we were protecting this place for a reason.
あ、できれば求婚の結果が出たら教えてくれると嬉しいな、なんて。種族違いの愛なんておとぎ話みたいで素敵だよね。
I love him. But could you tell me later on how it went? I mean, it's like a fairy tale. Love transcending life and death and all that.
待て、リコリスを素手で掴み取ろうとするな。頼むから人の話を聞いてくれ。
Wait, don't pluck the lycracies with your bare hands. Please, you have to listen to me. Ankou rushed to stop Yves, who was so happy that he completely forgot about misfortune and was about to head to his own death.
君の気持ちはありがたいが、まずは墓荒らしのことを優先すべきではないかな。
I appreciate the sentiment, but perhaps it would be best to focus on the grave robbers for now.
あ、そうだった。じい様たちの位牌。
That's right, my family's ashes. The grave robbers probably died from the curse as they unearthed the grave, which was covered with lycracies. Yves turned over a few of the bodies and looked at their pained expressions.
ノワージュ家への嫌がらせ。でも国中が大変な状況でこんなことをする理由なんて。
Did they hate the Niarch family? But that doesn't make sense since the country's got an even bigger problem now. Ankou moved toward the bodies and shifted their clothing to see reliver marks on their skin. They looked like any other person, but it seemed as if they changed their clothes to visibly disguise their identities.
バックアップがあるとしても、一般のために災いの花を荒らす度胸があるとは思えない。おそらく王族の使いだろうな。
Even if with backups, I doubt anyone would have the courage to go near these flowers. They must work for the royal family.
君、この墓に何が埋まっていたのか、祖父から何も聞いていないのかい？
You. Did your grandfather ever tell you what was buried in this grave?
何がって位牌だよね。君と会った始祖様のものも一緒に入ってたはずだけど。
What do you mean? The ashes? I'm sure my ancestor you met in there was in there too.
そうか。せめて断片的にでもと思ったが、そう都合よくいくはずもなしか。
I see. I thought they would have shared fragments, but I suppose things are not so convenient.
他に何かあるってこと？じい様を弔った時、両親は特に何も言ってなかったけどな。
You mean there was something else in there? My parents didn't tell me anything when they buried my grandfather. Yves jumped down into the empty grave, then brought out an empty casket to the surface.
ああ、いや、すまない。あれが入っているのは盗まれた位牌の中だ。もうその墓には何も。
Forgive me. It would have been in the stolen ashes. Apart from that, there's nothing.
あれ？下に何か埋まってる。
Huh? Oh. There's something buried down here.
何？
What's... Ankou looked down into the hole and saw Yves using his sword to stab the area where the casket once lay. Sensing that the tip of his sword hit some object other than dirt or stone, he quickly got to digging it up.
これは。
What is that? Buried there was a small iron box, which Yves carried under his arm as he climbed back up to where Ankou was.
鍵がついてる。ちょっと下がってて。
It's locked. Can you take a step back? He set it down and raised his dusty sword. The lock was quite old, so it easily broke to pieces when the blade struck. Inside was a worn and aged book.
これは。
That is... Yves flipped through to the first page with a flower drawn on it. And Ankou's eyes immediately widened.
落書きじゃなくて、もしかして外の国の文字？うねうねしてて蛇みたいだ。
They're not just scribbles. Maybe another language? They're curved around like snakes.
それにここに書かれているのはリコリス・ノワージュの赤い花？黒じゃなくて？
The flower hue looks like a red licorice, Niorch. Why isn't it black?
そうか。
I see.
位牌と共にあったのはあくまで子孫に口伝と記録を詳細に残すため、必要部分を訳した翻訳版。
So this is the original. That makes sense because, like, smart. The only thing in the ashes was a translated version of the parts that needed to be passed down through the generations.
原本
But
は
can any
他
that
にあっ
speak
たのか。
Japanese read Japanese?
この本と武術を司る本だけは言葉で記されていたから。
A separate original makes sense. This book and the one on martial arts was written in something language.
なら
Which
内容は
means
ほ
what's
ぼ同
written
じの
there
は
should
ず。
be the same.
これをあいつに読ませることができれば状況を動かすことができる。
If we can manage to read this, the situation might finally change. Hurry, back to the Batcave. Ankou reached out to the book in Yves' hand, but... what's happening? Just before his fingers could touch it, his body froze in place as though time stopped. preventing him from going any closer.
こんなところにも影響が。
Curseless interference. Yves was surprised by the phenomenon he just witnessed. But Ankou was undeterred.
イブと言ったね。君、この文字を読むことは。
Yves, are you able to read the words written there?
無理だよ。こんな複雑な文字見たことないし。
No, I've never seen words as complex as these before.
この間まで生きてたマティスなら読めたかも。翻訳が家業だって言ってたから。
And that's where his would come into play. So he's gotta be alive. They've gotta be alive.
では今すぐ彼の残した屋敷へ。訳すための資料ぐらいなら残っているだろう。
The copium is a lie. Let's head to his manor. I assume he must have materials we can use to read the book. Uncle, you just have your vets go to the manor.
あ、
Uncle,
ちょ
don't
っと
go.
ダメだよ。俺はアドルフから君の保護を任されてるんだから。
Wait, Adolphe asked me to take you into custody. Yves hurriedly chased after Ankou, who headed down the road leading to town. Before he could grab Ankou's arm to stop him and explain the situation, deliberate footsteps could be heard. They came from what was an empty spot just a moment ago. The black shadow of death stood there like a ghost. But unlike before, he showed no signs of hostility. He merely looked on in silence. They didn't have any time to be surprised, as their reactions were too delayed. Burrow smiled gently, and in the next moments, the black field of flowers was dyed in red. Fuck. Bats. Ouch. Blood dripped to the ground as a sharp pain ran through my arm.
傷がかなり深いな。跡が残らなきゃいいんだが。
He got you real deep. I hope it doesn't leave a scar. Even if it does, I'm lucky he didn't chop my whole arm off. I said it as a joke, but it seemed like Adolphe didn't take it that way.
危険な目に遭わせて悪かった。
Sorry, I got you into so much trouble. He spoke regretfully as he wrapped a clean cloth around my upper arm.
俺はいつも肝心な時にお前のそばにいないな。
Never there when you need me, am I?
挙句しつこいぐらいに守ると言っておきながらあのざまだ。
Worse, I told you I'd protect you, and this is what happened. You don't need to apologize, Adolphe. I knew what I was getting into. I also don't think anyone would have expected Mother to come after us.
そんなこと言い訳にもならねえ。イブたちがいなかったら俺はお前を失っていたかもしれない。
That's not even an excuse. I could have lost you if Yves and the others weren't there to help.
ようやく来たか、役立たず。彼女がこうして無事なのは、君が無様に気を失っている間に、リコリスの守護者が身を挺して守ってくれたおかげだ。それから、 シアン・ブロフィワーズとマティス・クロードにもせいぜい感謝すること。
うるさい。そんなこと。
Flashback over. Adolphe, don't tell me what Ankou said has been bothering you all this time. Knowing his silence was an answer, I continued. It was just a matter of luck, really. Yves or I could have been in your place if things had gone differently. You know that, right, Adolphe?
分かってるからこそ、そんな運ばかり引く自分に嫌気がさすんだ。
I do, which is why I hate myself for always getting lucky like that.
俺はお前を守ろうと剣を抜くことすらできなかった。
I wasn't able to even pull out my sword to protect you. Adolphe gritted his teeth with frustration. Ankou's words must have had so much effect on him. But I'm just happy that Adolphe is by my side as often as he is. But no matter what I thought, Adolphe still felt like he hadn't done enough. There was nothing else he could have done. I couldn't seem to think of a good way to cheer him up, when luck had such a big part on how things turned out. But Adolphe didn't say much more, probably thinking it was meaningless to talk about it further. I endured a small pain, in silence, as Adolphe continued to wrap the bandage around my arm. Next, it was my turn to tend to Adolphe's injuries. Fortunately, they were mostly bruises and no broken bones, so I cooled down the swelling with a wet cloth and applied a salve. Hey Adolphe, about that announcement. Do you think it's really possible to get rid of the curse if I'm offered as a sacrifice? I asked as I put away the medicine, while Adolphe folded down his clothes.
何が言いたいんだ？
What are you trying to say? Adolphe turned around and looked at me with stern expression.
まさか自分から犠牲になって国と民を救おうなんてことを考えてるんじゃないだろうな。
You better not be thinking of offering yourself as a sacrifice to save the country or something. I couldn't hide anything from Adolphe. Just a little. No. To be honest, I am thinking about it. I thought I could atone for the past sins by saving everyone this time. I didn't want to commit any more sins and fall deeper into despair. If the announcement had been made by Cyan, I might have made my decision without a second thought.
バカバカしい。その呪いを解こうとした女王を暗殺した連中の言うことなんて信じるな。
You stupid. Why would you believe the bastards who assassinated the queen for trying to get rid of the curse?
俺たちが誰よりも先に呪いを解けば、それで済む話だろ。
We just have to get rid of the curse ourselves before them. Simple as that. As expected, Adolphe blew away my doubts. You're right. I don't think everything they said in the announcement is true. But I thought that maybe we could use it to our advantage and see what they might be basing their ideas on. They clearly mentioned that death and the Lycoris Neoshes were needed for salvation. They must have had a reason for saying so. If it's too dangerous to go near the royal family, maybe we can ask Yves about the Lycorises. He must have thought I had a point, because the normally stubborn Adolphe fell silent. If I could manage to make convincing arguments, he might actually agree with me. Adolphe. Saved by you. Actually, maybe I should just be evil and end it here. We have been going for a long time and my voice is starting to get tired. And it's late. So we'll save it here. And we'll end it here. It's been a good 7 hours. This truly is the beginning of hell. Most certainly. Yeah. If Cyan and Mathis are really dead, it really is the beginning of hell. No, it is hell already. A world without Mathis and Cyan is not one worth living. Anyway, there we go. That's, Ow. Virche Evermore. So getting pretty close to the end, I think. They checked the flowchart. Chapter 1. Oh wow, 3 was actually pretty short. Oh wow, dang, 3 was really short. But I still refuse to see. I refuse they're dead. They are not dead. They were alive. I don't care what anyone says. At least let me continue believing until I actually get proof that they are. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for joining me. For coming by, for anyone who came by. And anyone watching, any lurkers, thank you for stopping by. Listening. And, next stream is gonna be Saturday with our anime nights. And yeah. Oh gosh. So yeah, so getting closer to the end. It's exciting. I really want to know what happened to Yves. Or Ankou, or whose blood was it? Please tell me. I need to know Yves is safe. Because if he dies, then it's just over. It's just over. You've lost. We've lost. So hopefully it's not over. But who knows? Okay, yeah. I hope everyone has nice nights, morning, afternoon. And I will hope to see you again. So feel free to stop by next week when we continue this up. And yeah, we'll see what's going on. Ooh, excuse me. And so I'll be leaving you. And sweet dreams, I guess. Right. Bye-bye.